Welcome, Boker Tov, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Welcome to this momentous occasion, a wonderful morning to be together. You heard a little bit of tune beforehand, but I'd actually like to start our service this morning with a song that is not found in your prayer books, and it's not found in your prayer books because I wrote it. They haven't put it there yet.
Our next prayer book.
The next prayer, thank you. I like that optimism. But during the high holidays when I joined you, I'd actually posted online a song about the new year that I had wrote, and it's called New Year. And Rabbi heard it online, and he really liked it. And, you know, the song is really about not just the start of a new year on Rosh Hashanah, or the start of a new year on January 1st. Because any day can be the start of a new year, a start of a change, a start of something different. And that's what we're here to celebrate and to pray on today together. And as we celebrate Rabbi Polin, I'd like to start with this beginning of a new beginning for us all, with New Year. is a new year. This is a new year. This is a new year. This is a new
Thank you. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us for the very important installation ceremony. Looks like I have my Rabbi up here already today. All right, you can stay up here, buddy. So I'd like to invite up Dean Jonathan Heck to come on up here. In just a moment, we're going to be opening up our Torah ark, but first we're going to join together for Ein Kamocha on page 92. Rabbi's going to lead us with Ein Kamocha on page 92, and then Rabbi Dean Jonathan Heck will come up. Dean Jonathan Heck will come up afterwards.
Ein kamocha ba'elokim Adonai ve'ein kema'asecha Malchutecha malchut kol olamim Umemshaltecha bechol dor v'ador Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed Adonai oz le'amo yitain Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom.
We now rise for Rachamim on page 93 as Rabbi Dean Jonathan Heck will be opening up our Torah ark.
Av harachamim etiv avirtzoncha et Zion Tivne chamot Yerushalayim Tivne chamot Yerushalayim Ki becha levavatanu Melech el ram v'nisa Adon olamim Vayhi b'nsoah ha'aron Vayomer Moshe Kuma Adonai Ve'yafutzu oivecha Ve'yanusu misanecha mipanecha Ki mitzion tetzei Torah Ki mitzion tetzei Torah Udevar Adonai miYerushalayim Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah Le'amo Yisrael B'kedushato.
Which one? Center. Oh, sorry. That one, yes.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Gadol Shemo Gadlul Adonai iti Uneromem Hashemo Yachdav Adonai hagedula ve'hagevura ve'hatiferet והנצח וההוד. כי הו בשמיים ובארץ, כי הו בשמיים ובארץ, לך אדוני המלאכה, ועמי נעשה לכל ראש. רוממו, רוממו, אדוני אלוהינו, והשתחוו, והשתחוו, להדום רגליו קדוש הוא. רוממו, רוממו, אדוני אלוהינו, והשתחוו, והשתחוו, להר קדשו, כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד.
You may be seated. I'd like to invite up now Dr. Rabbi Ben Levy for our Torah reading. Torah reading may be found in our Chumash on page 1176. Page 1176. Oh, I'm sorry, 558. We're a little bit off on that one. About 500 pages. For our first Aliyah to the Torah, our Aliyah L'Rishon, I'd like to invite up Rabbi Jonathan Dean Heck. What is your Hebrew name? Harav. Yonatan. Ben. David Vilea. Harishon.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai Notein HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayomer Moshe el Adonai. Re'eh ata homer elai ha'alet ha'amazeh v'ata lo nitani et asher tishlach imi v'ata amartai daticha b'shem v'gam matzata chen b'einai v'ata imna ha'matzati chen b'einecha hodi'einai derachecha v'yedacha ha'luman emtzachein b'einecha וראה כי עמך הגוי הזה ויאמר פני אליך והכינותי לך ויאמר אליו אם אין פניך הולכים אל תעלנו מזה ובמה יוודע איפה כי מצאת חן בעיניך אני וימך הלא בלכתך עמנו ונפלינו אני וימך מכל העם אשר על פני האדמה
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Aliyah Hashini, I'd like to invite up now Abi Lisnia for our second Aliyah. Abi Lisnia, your full Hebrew name?
Avram Moshe
Abraham Moshe
ben Eliyahu
ben Eliyahu
ben Yehudit.
the Yehudit. Harav Eliyahu. Harav Eliyahu.
Yes, yes. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. ויאמר אדוני אל משה גם את הדבר הזה אשר דיברת אעשה כי מצאת חן בעיני בידיך בשם. ויאמר הריני נא את כבודך ויאמר אני אעביר כל טובי על פניך וקראתי בשם אדוני לפניך וכינותי את אשר אכון ורחמתי את אשר ארחם.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Aliyah Shlishi, Marilyn Salewitz, I'd like to know your full Hebrew name again.
Miriam Bat Ruven
Miriam
Bitzipor.
Bat Reuben
Reuben
Bitzipora.
Not necessarily, just show you Reuben.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Baruch.
Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. ויאמר לא תוכל לראות את פניי כי לא יראני האדם בחי. ויאמר אדוני יהיה מקום איתי ונצפת על הצור והיה בבוא כבודי ושמתיך מקרת הצור וזכותי כפי עליך עד עוברי וסיבותי את כפי וראית את אחורי ופניי לא יראו.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. The Aliyah Rabbi, I'd like to invite up Sam and Iris Rabinowitz. Full Hebrew names.
Okay. Chaim,
Chaim,
Raphael,
Raphael,
Ben Zissel,
Ben Zizel,
Yehudis.
the Yehudis,
Iris is Chaika Chana,
Haika Chana,
Bat Herschel,
Bat Herschel,
the
the
Vega Malka.
Vega Malka.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. ויאמר אדוני אל משה בסולך שני לוחות אבנים כראשונים וכתבתי על הלוחות את הדברים אשר היו על הלוחות הראשונים אשר שיברת יהיה נכון לבוקר ועלי לבוקר הסיני וצפת לי שם על ראש ההר ואיש לא יעלה עמך וגם איש אל יראה בכל ההר גם הצאן והבקר אל יראו אל מול ההר ההוא.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tokenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
The Aliyah Hamishi, Judy Cohen,
Sarah Leah, yeah.
Sarah Leah,
Yeah, Tamara,
Tamara,
Avraham.
Avraham.
Baruch et Adonai Hambara. Baruch Adonai Hambara Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher b'chavanu mikol ha'avim netan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayivso shti gufot avadim kavrishonim v'yashkei Moshe baboker vayal el har Sinai kasher tziva Adonai oto v'yikach biyado shnei luchot avadim v'yever Adonai be'anan v'yatzei v'imo sham v'yikra b'shem Adonai Vayavor Adonai al panav, vayikra Adonai Adonai el rachum v'chanun, erech apayim v'rav chesed v'emet, notzer chesed le'alafim, nosei avon v'fesha v'chata'a, v'nakeh lo yinakeh pokeh davon avot, al banim v'al b'nei banim, al shileshim v'al ribeim, V'yimaher Moshe v'yichod arza v'yishtachavuhu V'yomer hina v'tzadichen b'einecha Adonai yelech na'Adonai b'kirbeinu Ki am kashe oref hu v'salakta li'avoneinu l'chatoteinu l'chaltanu V'yomer hine anochi koreh Brihit neged kol amcha esed niflaot asher lo nivru'u b'chol ha'aretz u'b'chol hagoyim V'ra'ah kol ha'am asher ata b'kirbo et ma'aseh Adonai ki norahu asher ani oseh imach.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tohinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. The Aliyah Hashishi, I'd like to invite up Stephen and Jack from Polin and bring up Mike as well.
You come by this way, sir.
He wants to stay there. She's coming. So it's gonna hang Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher b'charvanu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Shemor lecha et asher Elokim etzavecha hayom hineni goresh mipanecha et Amori v'Kanani v'Chiti v'Perisi v'Hivi v'Yebusi Yishom alecha pen tichrod brit v'yoshev ha'aretz asher ta'aleha pen yeh lokesh b'kirbecha ki mizbechotam titutzum v'yet mizbechotam v'et matzevotam tishabehu v'yet ashevav tichrotzun ki lo Tishtakabel el acher ki Adonai kana shemo el kana hu Pentichrod blit yoshev haaretz v'zanu acharei Elohehem zatu Elohehem v'kar alecha v'yakaltem v'zivcho ולקחתם מבנותיו לבניך וזנו בנותיו אחרי אלוהיהם וישנו את בניך אחרי אלוהיהן אלוהי מעשיך לא תעשה לך.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נתן בתוכנו ברוך אתה אדוני נושא התורה. The Aliyah HaShevi'iyah, very exciting one. Harav Shmuel and Zan will be Yael. That's me. I put Harav at the beginning there. It's very important because I'm the rabbi here, so. Baruch Adonai Barach. Baruch Adonai Barach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Baruch Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'Nasan Lanu Torah Etz Chaim. Baruch Atah Adonai Nosein HaTorah.
Amen. את חג המצות תשמור 7 ימים תאכל מצות אשר ציוויתיך למועד חודש האביב כי בחודש האביב יצאת ממצרים כל פטר רחם לי וכל מקדך תזכר פטר שור ועשה ופטר חמור תפדה ועשה ואם לא תפדה וערפתו כל בכור בניך תפדה ולא יראו פני ריקם 6 ימים תעבוד וביום השביעי תשבות וחריש וחציר תשבות וחג שבועות תעשה לך ביקורי קציר חיטים וחג הסיף תקופת השנה 3 פעמים בשנה ויראה כל צפורך את פני אדון אדוני אלוהי ישראל כי יוריש כה יביא בניך וירחבתי את גבולך ולא יחמוד איש את ארצך בעלותך לראות את פני אדוני אלוהיך 3 פעמים בשנה לא תשחט על חמץ דם צדחי ולא ילין לבוקר זבח חג הפסח ראשית ביקורי אדמתך תביא בית אדוני אלוהיך לא תבשל גדי בחלב אמו.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו ברוך אתה אדוני נושא התורה. אמן. I'd like to invite up now Laura and Mark Steinberg for our Haftorah blessings. Haftorah blessing may be found on page 99, and our Haftorah reading, if you have Etz Chaim, which is the name of our congregation, if you have an Etz Chaim Chumash, it's on page 1259.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. I don't need Mark to be here.
We'll let him know.
Okay. Blessed are you, O eternal our God, ruler of the universe, who has chosen good prophets and has taken delight in their words spoken in truth. Blessed are you, eternal, who chooses the Torah and Moses, servant of the divine, and Israel, the godly people, and the prophets of truth and righteousness.
Amen.
On that day, when God set foot on the soil of Israel, declares the Lord God, my raging anger shall flare up. For I have decreed my indignation, and in my blazing wrath, on that day a terrible earthquake shall befall the land of Israel. The fish of the sea, the birds of the sky, the beasts of the field, all creeping things that move on the ground, and every human being on earth shall quake before me. Mountains shall be overthrown, cliffs shall topple, and every wall shall crumble to the ground. I will then summon the sword against him throughout my mountains, declares the Lord God, and every man's sword shall be turned against his brother. I will punish him with pestilence and with bloodshed, and I will pour torrential rain, hailstones, and sulfurous fire upon him, and his hordes, and the many peoples with him. Thus will I manifest my greatest and my holiness, and make myself known in the sight of many nations, and they shall know that I am the Lord. Blessed are you, eternal our God, ruler of the universe, rock of all worlds, righteous for all generations, the faithful God who says and does, speaks and fulfills, all of whose words are truth and righteousness, for the Torah and for worship and for the prophets and for the Sabbath day that you have given us, eternal our God, for holiness and rest, for honor and splendor, for everything do we thank and bless you, eternal our God. May your name be blessed by the month of all who live continually, forever and ever. Blessed are you, eternal, who sanctifies the Sabbath.
Amen.
So I'd like to invite up now Liz and David Rothman for the Gabbi's Prayer on page 96. Page 96. Sorry, page 97. It's on page 97.
Oh, David Ben Shlomo.
No.
Oh, I don't do it now?
No. You said it very proudly, so.
Bless, O God, this congregation, those who lead and serve it, those who contribute to its strength. Bless all who enter this house, that the worship offered within its walls may be worthy of your greatness and your love, and that all who seek your presence here may find it for the joy of community, the gift of diversity, and the vision of harmony. We offer our grateful thanks. Bless our land and all its inhabitants. Prosper us in all our undertakings. Be with those whom we have chosen to lead us, that they may strive to establish justice and opportunity for all, and labor to bring peace to the family of nations. Bless the household of Israel, wherever they dwell. Be with us here, where we worship you in freedom. And may those who live under oppressive rule find release and liberty speedily in our own day.
May your favor rest upon Israel, her land, her people. Protect her against hatred and war. Grant that the promise of her beginning may ripen into fulfillment, bringing comfort to those who seek refuge, light to those who dwell in darkness, new hope to all humanity, and let us say,
Amen.
Amen.
If you want. Fred Leon is not empty right now. So I'd like to invite up now John to lead us in the Misha B'Rach prayer. Misha B'Rach prayer may be found at the back of our Siddurim, at the very back of our Siddurim. We're going to sing it together. So yesterday we had recited the names from our Misha B'Rach list. If anyone would like to add any names to that list that was read yesterday, I'd like to ask anyone to right now contribute any names. Anyone would like to add any names to the Misha B'Rach list read of yesterday? Ron Stinger. Jimmy Bass. Marty Grant.
Robert Shaw.
Robert Shaw. Jessica Stein. Ron Cadorso. Yes.
Gloria Morrison.
Gloria Morrison.
Morrison.
Okay.
Yvette Zamos.
Yvette Zamos.
Michael Berkovitz.
Michael Berkowitz.
Marsha Pons,
Marsha Potts,
Bob Semenson.
Bob Semenson,
Lynn Weiss,
Lynn Weiss,
Polly Goldstein,
Kali Goldstein,
and Brooke Goldstein.
Brooke Goldstein,
Dave Rowe.
Dave Rogue,
Arlene Parrish,
Arlene Karish,
and the Elbaum family.
and the Elbaum family,
Alan and Barbara Steinberg.
Alan and Barbara Steinberg. Are there any additional names anyone here would like to say Misha Barak for today? Okay. The Misha Barak may be found at the back of our Siddurim,
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
So we're going to offer a Misha Barak for the world on page 98. Page 98 has a Misha Barak for the world as well. Bless this planet and all things on it. Bless our human family, that we may bind together in peace and understanding as we're created from the same Creator. Watch over those born at this time and let the generations of survivors truly bring this world to fruition as it is written, so you may be with us in peace, harmony, prosperity, fulfillment, and spirituality. Help our leaders be wise, compassionate, and understanding. God, do not let democracy end. Let us have leadership at every level that respects the humanity of us all. Let our country become a true United States of America. Hashem, let us be able to do for you as you do for us. Baruch Hashem, and let us say, Amen. We now lift and address the Torah. As the Torah is being lifted, I'd like to ask everyone to please rise. Just need to have someone spot me while I open up the Torah.
V'zot ha'Torah aser sa Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe.
You may be seated. I'd like to invite up now Rabbi Dean Jonathan Heck for our sermon, our words of Torah, and more to come.
Thank you, Rabbi. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Moadim l'simcha. First of all, I would like to thank all of you for inviting me today, and of course to Rabbi Polin for inviting me. I have eyes in the back of my head, so I'm looking at him at this moment. It'd be nicer if you sit over there.
Oh, okay.
It'll be easier.
You want
and then
me to-
I'll call you up.
Okay,
I'm not going to get to the installation until a little bit later.
I'll go down.
Rabbi Levy, Levy, excuse me. Thank you for having me here, members of the congregation, the community. Chazan Wisdia? There you are. It is really wonderful. Oh, and I also want to say Shabbat Shalom and Moadim L'Simcha to all of those of you who are joining us online today. Your presence is felt here as well, so Shabbat Shalom to you as well. Yes, I am Rabbi Jonathan Hecht, and I am serving as the Dean of Hebrew Union College, Jewish Institute of Religion, where Rabbi Polin was ordained. And we spent many years together in Cincinnati. I'd like to also to say hello to his mom and dad as well, and we're so glad to have you here too. In my role as dean and the director of the rabbinical program, as you can imagine, first of all, I love every single student that we have. They're all amazing people, and I'm really not allowed to play favorites. But if I was going to play favorites, your rabbi would be at the top of my list. I know Rabbi Polin in a number of ways. I served as his teacher in the senior seminar. We worked together. I evaluated sermons, and we got to know each other in my role as being a teacher and a dean. And now he is a colleague and a friend. So thank you, Shmuel, for inviting me to participate. I'm thrilled to be here to honor you today. Let me tell you a little bit about your rabbi, Rabbi Polin. And you probably know some of this already. So a few years ago, a student walked into my office with a very, very ambitious idea. He was mesmerized by the hand-carved ark that was in our school's chapel. It is one of the few remaining wooden arks of its kind from Poland because it was acquired before the Holocaust. The ark is in our chapel in Cincinnati is a survivor, is also, I think, an important part of the story. Because this student, in addition to having a background in art, also had a special interest in the Holocaust and its survivors. So every one of our students is asked to complete a final project before being ordained. And Shmuel's idea was this. He was going to research wooden arks destroyed during the Holocaust. He was going to find one, and he was going to then recreate it in exact detail and size. He was going to involve others in the project, and in this style of Harrison Ford, in Raiders of the Lost Ark, all of these people would become creators of the Lost Ark. Well, try to put yourself in my shoes for a minute. Imagine you were me. How would you respond to a student who comes to you with such a huge, complicated, and seemingly impossible project? And you have to remember, I have to make sure that these young people become rabbis at the end of the study. So here are some of the questions that ran through my head. Now, I know you're involved and you love art, you've got a background in art, but do you know how to carve? Do you have the tools to do it? And if not, where are you going to get them? And most importantly, because it's easy to get tools, but how are you going to pay for them? And all of the raw material that was going to be necessary. How are you going to fund this project? And where are you going to display it? And I mean, I could just go on and on with the questions that you can imagine I was thinking at the moment. Well, let me tell you what happened. Rabbi Polin learned how to carve. He established a not-for-profit in order to raise the money for this amazing project that he was engaged in. He worked with our museum director to learn about how to create a museum exhibition. He began fundraising, and he raised all of the money, in fact, in excess of what was needed. He involved other students and members of the community as well. He acquired all the equipment. He researched the history of European wooden arks and found out more information than we knew about the ark that we had in our chapel. He worked with a structural engineer to make sure that his finished project wouldn't topple over. And after all, it was 3 stories high when it was completed. In the end, Rabbi Polin recreated a perfect replica of a 3-story lost European ark in exact detail. And let me just give you an example of what I mean when I say in exact detail. The paint selections that were made, and of course we're really working with a black and white photo, but the paint selections that were made would include colors that were going to be available at the time that the ark in question was manufactured. And he went as far as not just purchasing those colors, but actually finding out how the paints at that time were mixed together, and he then used the same techniques of the day at the time that the ark was created in order to do that. That's the amount of detail that Rabbi Polin put into this project. It was incredible, and that's who your rabbi is. He is a builder of Jewish life. He is he loves the values that come from our past, from the teachings and the history of our people. He brings our people's history to life so that we can experience it in our lives. Now, let me expand on that just a little bit more. Rabbi Polin knows how to take things from the past and make them relevant for today. In other words, he combines a love for tradition with a willingness to innovate. And that, my friends, is the essence of Reform Judaism. Looking into the past for what is most beautiful and valuable and usable, and bringing it into our lives today in an innovative way that we can appreciate that. As dean, I watched Rabbi Polin become a rabbi. I had a little bit of help in it, but there were a lot of faculty members and his classmates. But I watched over the years as he became a rabbi. And that was our job, to make him a rabbi. We helped him do that. And now we're going to pass on a job and a task to all of you. And that is that you have to make him your rabbi. It doesn't happen in an installation ceremony. It happens over a period of time. In fact, it's already happening. I saw it last night. And I know you observed the High Holy Days together. You prayed with him. You listened to him teach you Torah. He's already working with the young people in this community in your religious school. You've heard him preach. There are going to be moments for you to be with him together in the future
with every single sacred encounter that you have with him, he more and more becomes your rabbi. You know, as I thought about today and I thought about Rabbi Polin and the ark, I was reminded of the story, and you probably know it from the Torah, of another great artist who fashioned an ark, and in fact fashioned the entire tabernacle, which was the place of meeting, the tent of meeting that we used in the wilderness in the time of Moses. The name of that artist was Bezalel. Moses appointed him to build an ark and everything that went along with it into the tabernacle. And this served as the center of Jewish life for our people in the wilderness. Then I thought about all of you. Because you know, when you read the story of Bezalel, you find out that that great artist, as great as he was, did not work by himself. God commanded Bezalel to gather around him people who were chacham lev, who were wise-hearted, who would help him. Not just anybody, but people who had a certain quality of wisdom and kindness and openness in their hearts. They had to be chacham lev. They had to be passionate. They had to be kind. They had to be wise and open-hearted individuals. Today, we install a new rabbi in this congregation who is a certified rabbi. I can attest to it. I was there when he was ordained. And also a rabbi who is a builder, a recognized builder. Rabbi Polin is passionate, loving, wise, and kind. And he is going to help build Jewish life here in Monroe Township, here at Etz Chaim. He has the blueprints. They're in the Torah. All he needs now are anashim chochmei lev, people who are chacham lev, who are wise-hearted. And so your task now is to open your hearts and your minds to him, so that together you and Rabbi Polin will make this place a sanctuary, a tabernacle, right here in Monroe Township. That is the task that I'm giving to all of you. And to Rabbi Polin, to my dear Rabbi Polin, Shmuel, I have a charge for you as well. We're talking about builders. Well, the prophet Isaiah taught, when all of your children shall be taught of the Lord, then Rav Shalom Banayach, great will be the shalom of your children. The first requirement in Isaiah's teaching to us is that all of Bnei Yisrael should be taught of God. And then that will bring peace into our world and into their lives. Our rabbis said, do not read Banecha, do not read your children, but rather read Bonecha, your builders. Your task, Shmuel, is now to help Bnei Yisrael become Bonei Yisrael, the children of Israel to become the builders of Israel. I look forward to seeing all of the great things that you and your congregation will do in the future. Mazel tov. And so now I'm going to ask that you come forward and come here. We'll stand in a way so that people online can see us as well. And we're going to ask everyone to open up the programs that have the installation so you can follow along with what we're going to say. Please rise.
Moshe kibel Torah miSinai u'misara liYehoshua. V'Yehoshua's lezikenim uzkenim leneviim u'neviim misruha la'anshe knesset hagdola hem amru shlosha devarim havu mitunim bedin v'ha'emidu talmidim harbe v'asu siag l'Torah. Moses received the Torah at Mount Sinai. He transmitted it to Joshua. Joshua in turn passed it to the elders, and the elders to the prophets. The prophets transmitted the Torah to the sages of the great assembly. The sages taught 3 things: be deliberate in judgment, raise up many disciples, and protect the integrity of Torah. Rabbi Polin, the chain of tradition links Sinai to this very moment and continues now as it has in every generation. As we place the Torah scroll into your arms, our God and God of our ancestors, bestow your blessings upon Rabbi Shmuel Polin and this holy congregation. Instill in him wisdom and righteousness, steadfastness and devotion, as he assumes the position of Rabbi of Etz Chaim, Monroe Township Jewish Center. Grant Shmuel a wise heart, candor and courage. May he respond to every challenge with dignity. Implant within him Torah and a full measure of your compassion, that he might embody the words of our tradition. Havei mital midav shel Aharon, ohev shalom v'rodev shalom, ohev et habriot u'mitkarvan l'Torah. Be a disciple of Aaron, loving peace and pursuing peace, loving all people and drawing them closer to Torah.
Eloheinu Elohei Eloheinu v'imoteinu. My God, God of my ancestors, I pray that you will be my guide as I humbly embark upon the task of leading this holy congregation. May we work together as sacred partners to fulfill the vision and mission to its Kehillah Kedusha. May I never lead them astray, knowing or inadvertently, and may my hands and heart be ever faithful in serving you. Show me your ways, Adonai. Teach me your paths. Guide me in your truths and teach me.
And the response when we say this is Ken Yehi Ratzon, by the way, into each of these. May it be God's will. Yivarechacha Adonai v'yishmarecha. May God bless you and keep you. Be this God's will. That's your part. Be this God's will. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May God's light shine upon you, and may God be gracious to you. Be this God's will. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May you feel God's presence within you always, and may you find shalom, peace. Be this God's will. Amen.
Amen. You may sit.
The next thing are speeches.
Yes, we have a series of speeches. Next, we have Dr. Rabbi Ben Levy to lead us in our next speech. Would you like me to sit in the front row, Raphael?
Do it.
Do it? Yeah.
Want to thank Rabbi Hex for being here today, and for Captain Wishnia and the long-suffering Dr. Rabinowitz, who's behind us with the Torah and the board, for asking me to say a few words today. in honor of this momentous occasion, and of course Rabbi Polin, who, as Yogi Berra might have said, for making this day necessary. We read in chapter 23 of the book of Vayikra that God commands every citizen in Israel to dwell in Sukkot for 7 days. And the next verse reminds us that, or depicts the eternal saying that I housed them or made them dwell in Sukkot when I took them out of Egypt. And this gives way to a Tannaitic debate, a debate of rabbis from the Mishnaic age, which goes from 70 to 220, approximately thereof. Rabbi Eliezer says that when the Torah says Sukkot, it actually means the Ananei HaKavod. It means the clouds of glory that surround the Jewish people, a symbol of God's presence, a metaphor for the spirituality of the festival that we now celebrate. And I would add to that part of that spiritual component is that this 40-year trek was instituted, on one hand, for one reason, to allow a new generation to grow up that was inculcated by the tenets of Torah. And it is this transformative power of Torah which allows the generation of the conquest to have the right stuff, to move into the promised land and establish a society there that is a moral society worthy of Isaiah's vision of being a light unto the nations. However, Rabbi Akiva disagrees with Rabbi Eliezer, and he says Sukkot mamash, that we're talking about actual physical Sukkot, which is the other aspect of this Sukkot holiday. That, the Sukkah is also a symbol of agriculture. It's a symbol of the fact that this is Chag HaAsif, as we read in our Torah portion today, the special portion for Chol HaMoed Sukkot. Shabbat Chol HaMoed Sukkot, that this is the final ingathering. It is the Jewish Thanksgiving. It is the Oktoberfest par excellence. And the Talmud builds upon this and says that, we should actually be building, to build upon the metaphor here, be building actual Sukkot huts. And not only that, but the Sukkot huts should be beautiful. We should add everything we can that they bring together this concept of Hidur Mitzvah, that when we do a mitzvah, we want to do it in the most beautiful, aesthetically pleasing way as possible. Now, it's a rare leader who can bring both of these aspects to the fore. And Rabbi Polin is that leader. Sure ain't me. I can't build a thing. I can't draw a straight line with a ruler. But Rabbi Polin can. Rabbi Polin is a person who indeed teaches transformational Torah here every single week, as all of us who come every week indeed know and have grown from. But Rabbi Polin is also someone who is an artisan, someone who has committed himself to Hidur Mitzvah, to recreating our Bima, to add to the holiness of this congregation. Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, our rabbi, led the people in the wilderness for 40 years to create a holy congregation, and it is my hope and prayer that Rabbi Polin, you lead us for many years and help us to enjoy the profundity of Jewish life and to share with you the holiness of this Kahila Kedosha. And so we pray that you have Haslacha, success, and bracha, blessing, and let us all say, Kei Ratzon. Amen. Mazel tov.
Now we have Dr. Sam Rabinowitz to say some words of Torah, and that's why we had Dr. Rabbi Levy up here for a little bit longer.
Have a seat.
You want me to take a seat? I'll take a seat. Okay.
Oh, gee. I have to follow 3 rabbis? This is a cruel and unusual punishment, to say the least. 25 years ago, I stood up here And at that point in time, as chair of the search committee, I welcomed, on behalf of the search committee and the congregation, Rabbi Levy. 25 years, last century. It's a new century. New rabbi. We welcome you. And I have put on this jacket for the first time all year because we don't need to wear jackets when we're on Zoom meetings after all. And no, this is from Rutgers. Momentum, forward thinking, forward movement. Perfect descriptor. But the macro item here is when we hired you, and we probably could have gotten you for nothing. You would have signed a contract with no money attached to it. Had we known that, we wouldn't have had to deal with collecting dues for the year. But here we are. But the larger item here is that, as we are now in this new century, you've brought with us the most important item of all. Micah. We can watch him grow here. And he'll lead you along the way because you're going to be working on the bima here, running after him most of the time. And that will play very well because therein lies the whole culture of our congregation, which is the community, the family. And you're bringing it here. And as the beard starts growing grayer and stuff, and he gets taller and things, the development will continue. Some of the faces hopefully will get added on here in terms of our newer generation of congregants coming in because they'll drink your Kool-Aid. Okay, you have it with you. You have the passion, you have the warmth. It's going to play out beautifully along the way. The smile is contagious, and that is just perfect. Now, a couple very serious stories for a second, and these are snippets, but it goes to you as an individual and the experience that Iris and I had with you as you were still unpacking. I don't even know if you got the Jersey plates yet.
Got it.
You just got it?
I got it.
Okay, so then you're stuck. That's it. No going back to Georgia, Peachy. That's it.
Oh yeah.
Okay, you're here now. And so, the first serious item that was dealt with Iris's mom, Florence. And at Rabbi Levy's retirement party, Florence saw Micah walking around. And, innocent little grab to take a look and that sort of stuff. A week later, that was it. Florence wasn't going out of the house anymore. But on the day where she was, hey, Micah.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah. So on the day where she was just kind of fading in out, you came over, you visited, and while she wasn't saying very much to us at that point in time at all, she remembered seeing you and seeing Micah. Very cool. Wow. And after that, the communication stopped. So if there's ever a lasting memory, a final memory of an individual, that's it. And that's the snapshot of you and what you bring to the table. So that's a forever instance. And for us, it is a lasting memory, lasting memory of what you have to offer to everybody. That's the Florence story. The stories that I want to talk about, so very briefly in terms of real snippets, what do you bring in terms of new traditions? Real simple. I just saw it the last few weeks or so. Last night, the dueling guitars at a sukkah service. The bread throwing contest at Tashlik. And at the Shiva call for us, you and Micah reading the climate there and coming in bathing suits and just, interacting in what Florence would have been smiling about. Because that was it. it was honoring the tradition and honoring the person in a way that really worked. So for all those respects, on behalf of the congregation, I could just welcome you and look forward to the next century between you and Micah running things along here and bringing us on to new levels. And I hope that our next generation of leaders comes forth and brings that with them to work with you and grow the place.
If you weren't here yesterday, you may have heard David Brown's volunteering for a board position. I asked anyone would like to make any announcements from the board. He raised his hand and said, I want to, how glad to be to join the board. So he may be part of that next generation.
That works. We'll sign him up now.
Yeah. Okay. Next we have Marilyn Saywitz. Thank you. I'll take a seat as well.
No pressure here. Professional speakers here and me. So I just want to say a couple of words. I ended up, when Rabbi Levy said he was retiring, my thought was, we're never going to find someone, right? I mean, 25 years of Rabbi Levy, we're a small congregation. Laura had reached out to CCAR. Timing was off. We convinced Rabbi Levy to stay another year. Thank God for that. And then we put our application in. And I volunteered to work with Laura to run the committee, the search committee. And I want to thank the other members of the committee, Robin Mann as head of our ritual, Harriet Katz, Harriet Blumenstock, Judy Cohen, Ellie Youngyao, Laura, and Sam. So we had a wide swath from the congregation, but CCAR really made us feel like we weren't going to find anybody. It was very discouraging, and we had the congregation join and tell us what they were looking for in a new rabbi, and we knew what we wanted in a rabbi, and they were like, you're too small, you're going to get a part-time rabbi, you can't afford it, it was really not great. So the first rabbi we got from CCR finally, when they asked us to put in for a part-time rabbi, and Rabbi Lee was like, it's a full-time job, So we'd gone back and forth. We finally reposted full-time job. First rabbi we get, older gentleman, who's an interim rabbi. And I don't know if people know, but interim rabbis kind of fill in when a rabbi's on sabbatical, in between rabbis, as a congregation's dealing with mergers. We knew we didn't want an interim. We knew we couldn't deal with that level of change. Nice, nice rabbi, but wasn't going to work. Then we expanded and we posted our job on jewishjobs.com. And we had a Hasidic rabbi apply. That wasn't going to work for us either, as you know, because I'm standing up here and women do aliyahs and we sit together, so it wasn't going to work. Then we had another rabbi apply, lived about an hour away in northern New Jersey, and we were like, all right, he might do, kind of attitude. Within hours of finishing that second interview with that rabbi that we're like, if we have to, we'll take him, we got a resume from a young rabbi in Georgia. And the committee was like, we need to talk to this guy. Called him right away. He was available. We did a Zoom call. I don't think I've ever told you this, but during the Zoom call, a couple of the committee members were like, we need to get him here in person, right? So we asked you, any chance you're coming to the area? He goes, well, I'm coming up to visit my family next week. We're like, perfect, come in person. And, as much as Rabbi Polin is smiling, he was smiling all during the interview, and we were smiling. It was just great, and I was going to say that, the term bashert, some people think means just soulmate, but it also means destiny.
Yes.
And I think that's where it was coming from. So we had arranged to meet with him, and we knew by the end of the first interview that he liked penne pasta, and Laura, who's Italian, was like, I'm cooking, so we had a nice meal here as part of the interview in person. And I don't think, I'm sorry, I'm rambling, but from the time that thanks David, from the time that we interviewed over Zoom, and when you came in person, less than a week later, we had actually drafted a contract. We knew that he was the right person for us. And so we had our meal, and we knew by the end we're going to, we extended you the contract, and you're like, I'll sign it. We're like, take it home and read it? But we knew, it was destiny, and I was so relieved, honestly, because running a committee that we're thinking we're just not gonna succeed was bad, but by the time we got your resume and we read it and we seen your website, we just knew. And so I am so happy that you're here. You bring a great energy and lots of new ideas, and I've heard a lot of great feedback after services from people, not just the committee, but a lot of our members already are like, just a great feeling. So I'm done rambling, and I'm standing between us and a couple more prayers and lunch anyway. So once you come up, I'd like to ask Avi to lead us in Siman Tov.
So let us be joyful, let us be glad for this moment for Rabbi Polin. Let's clap our hands and let's sing together. Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Yehelanu. Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Yehelanu, 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 Uleho Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Uleho Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Uleho Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Uleho Yisrael. One last time, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Yehelanu. Mazel Tov.
Just make a brief statement. I am so happy, so excited for the future, for what brings us to this day. Throughout the duration of the high holidays, I talked a lot about our past, present, and future, and it geared us to looking towards our future, and that's where we stand right now. We're overlooking our future. We reach to our past, to our roots, and I'm so happy to be part of this community where we all work in, pitch in together. It is a true kahila. I made the analogy of a shtetl while I was talking to many of you earlier and throughout the Hagim, and it is true. We all pitch in, and it has been a beautiful experience, and seeing everyone here today and pitching in as part of that shtetl experience. So I'm looking forward to a bright future here at Etz Chaim, and I'm looking forward to all of you being part of that. So, can you hear it Sunday? God's will. Amen. So now we're going to return our Torah to its ark on page 105. Page 105. I will take the Torah this time. We rise. We're going to be on page 102. I apologize for that. Abby will lead us on page 102.
Yeah, hallelujah, Shem Adonai, Ki Nizkar Shemo Levado, Hodo Haaretz V'Shamayim, V'Yarem Eren Le'amo, Tigale Kol Hasidav Livnei Yisrael, Am Kirovo, Hallelujah, Hallelujah.
The Torah of the Eternal is perfect, reviving the soul. Together. The precepts of the Eternal are right, delighting the mind. The word of the Eternal is pure, enduring forever. Behold, a good doctrine has been given to you, my Torah. Do not forsake it. It is a tree of life to all who hold it fast, and all support it. Find happiness. Its ways are of pleasantness, and its paths are of peace. So it's very exciting right now. I'll make a little tangential thought here. So now your new rabbi will be leading Etz Chaim for Etz Chaim on page 103. Page 103. Etz Chaim hi lemata zikim bach v'tom checha meushar dirafecha darkei noam v'kol netivotecha shalom hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva Chadesh Chadesh Yameinu Chadesh Yameinu K'kedem. You may be seated. So we don't have any more announcements, fortunately. So actually, we're going to be rising. Normally, we would take a break and have an announcement at this time, but we're going to be rising now for the Elenu on page 103. Oh, we do announcements. I'm sorry. Okay, we do have announcements. Come on.
Shabbat Shalom.
Good Shabbos.
Okay. Shemini Atzeret, morning of October 17, Simchat Torah, evening of October 17. 7th grade lead service, October 21st. Blessing of the animals along with student Shabbat is October 29th. Veterans Shabbat is November 4th. Blood drive is November 6th. And the bar mitzvah of David Brown is November 12th. Rutgers Jewish Film Festival is October 30th to November 13th, in person and virtual. More information on weekly email. Thank you.
Now we'll rise on page 103 with the Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol l'teit gedula liyotzeh b'reshit shelo atzai k'yeh velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama shelo sam kalkenu kachem v'gor aleinu k'kol hamonam v'anachnu horim u'mishkatabim u'moidim lifnei melech malchei hamachim hakadosh baruch hu shebunotei shamayim v'yosei haaretz u'moshev yekaro v'shamayim mima'al u'shlinatu zo b'govei meroimim hu Eloheinu einot emet malkeinu efesulato kakatu b'torato v'yadata hayom v'hoshevota el abecha ki Adonai hu Elohim Bashamayim mimal, v'al haaretz mitzad ein od. We continue on page 106 with the italicized text together. We therefore hope in you, O eternal our God, soon to behold the splendor of your might. Then will false gods vanish from the earth, and the idols will be utterly cut off to heal the world through the sovereignty of the Almighty. Then will all acclaim you as their God, and forsaking evil, turn to you alone. Let all who dwell on earth acknowledge that unto you every knee must bend, and every tongue swear loyalty. Before you, O eternal our God, let them humble themselves. To your glorious name let them give honor. Let all accept the yoke of your dominion, that you may rule over them soon and forever. For the dominion is yours, and you will rule in glory, as it is written, the eternal will reign forever and ever. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai, l'melech al kol haaretz, bayom ha'u yeh Adonai echad, Ushemo echad. You may be seated. So in just a moment, I'm going to be reciting the names from our yurtzeit list. After the names from our yurtzeit list have been read aloud, we will also include the names of our community who have recently passed. If there are any names you would like to have added to the list, either from the recent passings or from the yurtzeit list, after the names have been read aloud, please share with us the names of your loved ones so that we as one community can pray for the elevation of their soul, of their neshama into Shemayim. Our yurtzeit list for this month include the following names: Marjorie Belzer, Ruth Rambach, Miriam Feingold, Isidore Lerner, Jean Busker, Abraham Scheckman, Philip Axelrod, Harold Rabinowitz, Lorene Ginsberg, Diane Kasdan, Eva Hauser, Jacob Solomon, Gabriel Appelman, David Hutter, Clara Appelman, Herbert Friedman, Elizabeth Bodock, Max Jacobs, Pearl Hutter, Linda Bloom, Mary Kaufman, Rose Hutter, Irving Yokelson, Mindy Mann, Clara Rockman, and George Lewis. Our recent passings for this day include the following names: Judith Ellen Schuler, Philip Olstein, Stanley Tobe, Steve Goldblum, Jacob George Tobel, Peter Luzama, Stan Perlman, David Schneider, Raphael Marcus, Lawrence Schneider, Sylvia Tannenbaum, Florence Guttmacher. Are there any additional names anyone is observing for a yurtzeit today or in the period of Shel Shema? Rebecca Cabrera. Joseph Maldonado.
Jean Vitale.
Amanda Newman. Ben Rodriguez. Fred Kellogg. Judy Merman. McDonald Smith. And Larry Burchard.
Aaron Shapiro.
Aaron Shapiro.
T.T. Martinez. And Stephen Finkel.
Philip
Moret.
Charles Schneer.
Yes.
Brady
Albom.
Deborah Irwin.
And
Florence Bain.
Are there any additional names anyone is observing a yurtzeit for here today or in the period of Shel Shema? Okay. If it is your custom, please rise. The Mourner's Kaddish on page 107. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba v'alma dibra kirutei v'yemlich malchutei v'chayehon u'vyomehon u'fayei d'chol Beit Yisrael ba'agala u'zman kariv v'imru amen Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam u'lamei almaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitfa'ar v'yitramah v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shamei kudashah berehu Le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, dameran v'alma v'imru, amen. Yehi shlama rabamim shamaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom v'rama, u'yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. May the memories for all of our loved ones always remain with us, and let us say, amen. You may be seated. Chazan Lizzie is going to lead us with Ein Kalahenu on page 108, page 108 of our Siddurim.
Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kemoshienu, Mi Eloheinu, Mi Adonenu, Mi Kemalkeinu, Mi Kemoshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Malkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu.
Rabbi Dean Jonathan Heck is now going to, has something else.
Okay, I have one other thing.
Unscripted.
Yeah, this is unscripted, but, you know, a study was done many, many years ago about Cincinnati, asking about how people feel about it, and they found that among the top 50 cities in the country, that it was like very low down on cities that people want to come to. But they also had, in the study, looked at the question of what are the cities that most people do not want to leave? And Cincinnati was at the very top of that list. And so let me just say that Cincinnati, we have a problem that I could see that you have. It's not a problem when people come here and they don't want to leave. Okay? Because how wonderful it is here. And you'll have the same experience, I'm sure, with Rabbi Polin and his family. So when I asked Shmuel, I'm coming, is there anything you want from Cincinnati? The first thing he said was Grater's ice cream. And then we rethought that because it was not going to make it here in one piece. And I did mention that you can actually get Grater's ice cream in the local supermarkets now here, at least in Manhattan. I know you can do it, so hopefully you can get it here. But he said, I miss Cincinnati so much. I didn't know that I would be, like that spirit is still there. So he would ask for things that have Cincinnati meaning on it, sports things in particular. So we did get him a Cincinnati Bengals. It's a number of the quarterback, but it's not the present quarterback. So I'm sorry about that, but it's the Cincinnati Bengals, jersey for him. And he's now your quarterback. But
Thank you.
And we also have here, it's very lovely, it is, I'll open it. This is every year the Cincinnati Reds, and I was talking to someone about Euclid who comes from Cincinnati. But Cincinnati Reds has a Jewish community night, and they give out things that...
Oh, no way! Oh, that's so cool. I didn't realize. This is so cool.
So it's a Cincinnati Reds muffler with Cincinnati written on it in Hebrew. So that's for you. And we did, of course, we wanted Micah to also, so we also got him Cincinnati Reds shirt too. So Mazel Tov. I brought him gifts and from Cincinnati, and I'm bringing you a gift from Cincinnati, and that's Rabbi Polin. So. Okay. You can add tzitzit to it.
I was going to say, yeah, really nice clothes out of this. Avi to now lead us on Adon Olam on page 108. Page 108, we have Adon Olam.
Oh yes, flip the page over.
Sorry.
Please join in singing with me.
Adon Olam Asher Mala B'terem Kol Yitzir Nira Li'ek Nasa V'neso Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nigra V'yad Harei Kidlos HaKol Levado Yimloch Nora Vehu Haya Vehu Odeh Vehu Yiyeh Letifara Vehu Echad V'yein Sheni Lehamshil Lo Leachbira Beli Reshit Beli Tachlit Velo Aoz Vehamizra Vehu Eli V'chai Goali V'tzor Hebli V'etz Sara Vehu Nisi Umanos Li Menat Kosi Beyom Ekra V'yado Apkid Ruchi V'yeti Shan V'ya'ira Ve'im Ruchi Geviyati Adonai Li V'lo Ira.
Shabbos, everyone. Before we break, we have one final song. It was a request that I made that I would be able to sing for us one day. It's a Madas Yahu song if you're familiar with it. If you're not, it's a beautiful song. I thought it was very befitting for not just for the occasion of the installation, but befitting for our occasion of Shabbat as well.
So if you are, excuse me, if you are not familiar with this song, it's called One Day, and those words are very easy to sing along. So we'll sing those first. Every time it comes around, feel free to sing with me. It's all about that one day that we are working for, when everyone will live together in peace. And I know that Rabbi Polin will help congregation Etz Chaim work closer and closer to coming to that one day. It goes like this. One day, one day, one day. One day, one day, one day. Feel free to try that one. One day, one day, one day. One day, one day, one day. Sometimes I lay under the moon and thank God I'm breathing. And then I pray, don't take me soon, 'cause I'm here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know one day it'll all turn around. 'Cause all my life I've been praying for, I've been waiting for the people to say that we're not gonna fight no more. There'll be no more war, and our children will play. One day, one day, one day. Let's sing. One day, one day, one day. It's not about win or lose, 'cause we all lose when they feed on the souls of the innocent. Blood-drenched pavement, we keep on moving though the waters stay raging. In this maze you can lose your way, your way. It might drive you crazy, but don't let it faze you, no way. Because all my life I've been praying for, I've been waiting for the people to say that we're not gonna fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play. One day, one day, one day. One day, one day, one day. One day this all will change. Treat people the same. Stop with the violence, down with the hate. One Someday we'll all be free and proud to be under the same sun, singing songs of freedom like Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu Lishalom, Hamidenu Malkeinu Lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu Lishalom, Hamidenu Malkeinu Lechaim. Sometimes I lay under the moon and thank God I'm breathing. Then I pray you don't take me soon, 'cause I'm here for a reason. All my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we're not gonna fight no more. There'll be no more wars and our children will play. One day, 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 one day. One day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day. Shabbat Shalom.
Yeah, John. Oh, Jonathan. John, come on up. Shabbos, Shabbos.